Are you good about getting an eye exam every year? Well, our next guest is here to remind you that you need to, and also talk about our kids and how their eyes are getting worse quickly because of all the screen time. Today, we introduce you to the Compass Vision Care owner and optometrist, Betsy Fraser.
This is Charleston Women Podcast, where you can meet like-minded, strong, independent, professional, and inspiring local women. This is Charleston Women Podcast.
I would now like to welcome to the Charleston Women Podcast, Betsy Fraser. She is the owner and optometrist of Compass Vision Care. Betsy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, I can see that you're in your office. Tell the listeners at home, first of all, where they can find you.
We are in Mount Pleasant off of Wando Park Boulevard, which is right off of Long Point Road.
Okay. And I think all of us, need an optometrist, right? We should be going regularly for checkups, whether we wear glasses or contacts. What would you say, what makes you different? Because, I've been on location and I will just say, you just feel, I don't know, nicer. I feel like that's not a good enough word, but it's such like a pleasant experience. Like you're not going to the doctor. From the moment you walk in, it's very elevated.
Yeah. And that was really part of my mission, opening up. I wanted to create an experience for patients, really to provide unmatched patient experience for them. And, I practiced for about 10 years in different modalities and really got a chance to see what type of practice I wanted to build, the type of care I wanted to provide for patients. So we really wanted to feel comfortable. We cater a lot to families and moms. And as we all know, I'm a mom of 2 girls. Sometimes when you go to these medical appointments, it's the only time you're by yourself. So right? So
good point. So true.
Yeah. So I wanted people to feel comfortable. I wanted them to feel like they could sit down and relax and it's going to smell nice. And, you're going to be able to have coffee or water or tea and just to be able to enjoy that experience.
Mm-hmm. You've been open how many years now?
It'll be 5 years in September.
It'll be 5 years. We were there 5 years ago when you opened. I can't believe that. Time flies by.
I know.
Congrats on that. Congrats on 5 years. Do you feel though that you've seen the shift as far as the clients that you're attracting, the moms and the families, just by putting the vibes and that aesthetic out there?
100%. Yeah. It's one of those things. It's like you get the moms, you get the families. And I really, truly feel that we love kids here. Mm-hmm. We've done great on the mom's page on social media for, the mom to mom. Mm-hmm. And so it's wonderful. I think people enjoy that. We get a lot of good feedback on the environment and the type of exam we provide. I'm very thorough. Mm-hmm. I enjoy that encounter with people. I like to get to know people. So, you're not going to come in and be in and out in 15 minutes. That's just not the type of service we provide here. And I think in this world where there's a lot of hustle and bustle and moving, people appreciate that they can slow down and be heard.
Right. 100%. Let's go back in time when you were little Betsy. Yeah. What made you want to become an optometrist? Is this something that you always thought you wanted to do?
For a long time. I always wanted to be in healthcare. I mean, as long as I can ever remember, I babysat for an optometrist that lived down the road. Okay. And he asked me to, come and work for him for a summer. And so I did when I was in high school and I loved it. It's such a wide variety of patients. Mm-hmm. You see everything from children 6 months old to, elderly folks. Mm-hmm. Kind of nearing the end of their life. So it's a wide range. So I did that. I loved it. And I actually went to college. My background is in public health. So I have a bachelor's of science in health science from Clemson. So go Tigers. And I just kind of continued that track to try to go to optometry school. It was just something I kind of knew from the beginning.
How long is optometry school? I'm just curious. I have no idea.
It's 4 years. It's a 4-year doctorate program after your undergrad. So I, got my undergrad from Clemson, and then I went on to Illinois College of Optometry in Chicago. Spent 4 years and got my doctorate of optometry.
You mentioned your 2 daughters. Do you think you have any budding optometrists in your family? Have they shown any interest?
It's funny you say that. I had my oldest daughter in here this morning. She lasted for about an hour. She did some work for me. I don't know. She wants to be some type of scientist, my older one. She's thinking meteorologist. So we'll see where that goes. My younger one is 8. So she right now, she wants to be a gymnastics teacher. So we'll see.
Podcasting has exploded in popularity, especially local podcasts. As of 2022, 62% of Americans have listened to a podcast. 38% have listened in the last month. 26% in the last week. The podcasting audience is booming with no signs of slowing down. Call the podcast hotline to be featured on these podcasts or to receive information about podcast marketing. Call 843-530-0403 or visit carolinapodcasts.com.
You're listening to the Charleston Women Podcast.
I have a question for you, a personal question. You mentioned kids, and I know you do see children, right? That's a lot of your business.
Yep. Yeah.
Are you finding, so my daughter, she is 12. We just had to go for like the sports physical for, all the summer camps, et cetera. And she had the eye chart and she wears contacts and they were like, oh my gosh, she can't see. And I was like, shocked. I'm like, she has contacts. I don't know. We were just there. And the doctor was like, I am seeing this all the time. And then she just went on this tirade about cell phones, computers, et cetera. So you're the expert. Is that true? Are we seeing our children and obviously ourselves as adults? Is our eyesight getting worse and worse because of all the screen time?
Yeah, there's a lot of actual documented research that shows the more amount of time we spend here on devices up close, the more nearsighted our kids are becoming, or more myopic our kids are becoming, which again means you have a hard time seeing in the distance. Right. So we are seeing that change and progress more quickly prior to the onset of all of these digital devices. So it is real. There's a whole kind of world in optometry that's called myopia control. And we have certain types of contact lenses now that have been FDA approved to actually slow down that progression.
Really?
So, yeah, it's a real thing. I mean, it really is. And so it's a matter of, really encouraging parents to have those conversations with parents to get a good plan for screen time, and media time, and really encourage them to get outdoors, look far away, look, 20 feet away. I've talked about in, digital screen health. We talk about the rule of 20. Every 20 minutes, look 20 feet away for 20 seconds. So
can you repeat that? Every 20 minutes, look 20 feet away. 20
seconds.
And everyone, not just teenagers, kids, we should all be doing this.
We all should. We all are spending so much time on these devices. It's for our younger population, causing them to be more nearsighted more quickly, really seeing larger amounts of dry eye because we're not blinking as much. We're staring at those screens and we need the blink to get the oil pumped into that tear film. So it's something I talk about with patients every day, all day. And
I see, as hard as we try, it's part of their lives.
Right.
Speaking to children, like they go to school, they're on the screen the whole time. So, I'm glad that you're addressing it. And I'm glad that we said that about looking every 20 minutes. I think that's important.
Yeah.
2 other things. What can we do to keep our eyes healthy? And then I also don't let me forget to touch upon your dry eye services because it's a big part of your practice. So
it's
either
huge.
one that you want to answer first, go for it.
Yeah. So, I mean, some of it is, all interrelated, right? I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can do in general to keep eyes healthy. And number one is just have that annual eye exam. Often folks overlook their eyes, right? But when you think about it, you only have 2. And if I like to use the dental analogy a lot, I mean, how many of us know that we've got to get in every 6 months for those cleanings? And good news is there's no cavities, right? Yay.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, how many teeth do you have? We have a ton of teeth. So, and at the end of the day, I don't think anyone would want this, but you could actually get a replacement tooth, right? You can't with your eyes. And so we are looking, as optometrists, we're looking at so much more than just your vision. We are looking at the health of the eyes, looking at structures that might determine your risk for different eye diseases. And so, that's first and foremost, is really just getting people in the habit and having that mindset that this is another thing I have to do every year. We're going to check it off. Even if your kiddos see great, they're doing great in school, that's awesome. But we want to make sure the health is good too. And we want them in the habit of an annual eye exam. So they grow up knowing it. Their kids now have annual eye exams. Right. So I think that's probably the most important thing.
That's such a good point, that they see us doing it. They're used to doing it as children, and they continue that. Right. As far as your dry eye services, you saw a lot of us, from staring at the screens, from not blinking, a lot of people, or more than ever before, suffering from dry eyes. How can you treat that?
We have a lot of different progressive approaches to dry eye. So part of it is having the time to hear what's going on with that patient. So with every single patient I see age 10 and above, we actually do a scan of their glands that line the eyelids. So as we were talking about how important it is for blinking, we actually have glands that line those eyelids. They're called meibomian glands. Every time you blink, that upper lid should be meeting that lower lid. That's enough pressure for those oil glands to release oil. So we want to see, what do those oil glands look like, right? We now know that about 85% of our patients who suffer from dry eye have an issue with those oil glands. So the screening tools that I use allow me to identify patients who might be at risk for dry eye, who either are not aware of the symptoms or haven't, connected the dots yet that, hey, this might be a bigger thing. This might not just be my eyes are tired at the end of the day, or I feel like they're blurry after a long time of staring. So we're able to identify those patients and then either start treatment right away or bring patients back and do a more in-depth exam where I can get more information and figure out what's really the cause of their dry eye. So as far as treatments go, right now we're doing, for the most part, a combined approach with IPL, which is intense pulse light. Something that,
this is the same IPL you go on your face, right?
Same IPL that goes on your face.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep. And we have found, and actually IPL got its first FDA approval about 1.5 years ago for meibomian gland dysfunction, which is the type of dry eye we're talking about. So we do IPL. So patients are going to get that nice aesthetic benefit as well if you want an improvement in tone and texture. A lot of our patients who suffer from facial rosacea, same reason why they would get facial IPL. The same mechanism is occurring, and likely they're suffering from ocular rosacea that's feeding into their dry eye as well. So we do IPL, and then we also do radio frequency, which is a thermal treatment. It's like a hot stone massage. It feels amazing. It heats up those oil glands that we were talking about to really help improve the quality of oil that we're getting. So it's fun, it's relaxing. We have 2 rooms that are set up like spa treatment rooms. And the radio.
I was just going to say, from what I hear you saying, it sounds like a spa service.
Yeah.
Dry eye is not a bad thing anymore because we get a couple minutes in your back room spa.
Right, exactly. And, the nice thing about it is that these treatments are really treating the root cause, which a lot of our treatments up until now have all been like, let's slap a Band-Aid on it. Let's put you on another medication. And one thing I am finding, especially in this area, is that people are trying to be proactive about their health. A lot of folks don't want to be put on another prescription. So this is, a more natural way, but at the same time treating the root cause.
Right. Fascinating. I learned so much just for talking to you. Last question, why is it, Betsy, that, in our early 40s, my friend group, et cetera, we can suddenly no longer see up close? Everyone said it would happen, but why does it happen so quickly? And it happens to everybody. Is there anyone who can escape this?
No, sadly. And this is like the $1 million question. I can't tell you how often I have this conversation, but the medical terminology is presbyopia. Basically, what that means is that your eyes are just not able to focus as well anymore. So we have different focal points, and, those who have done great and have been super fortunate and have not had any issues with their vision, usually suffer the most because, it is sort of an acceptance stage of, oh, okay, here we go. This is happening. But it is completely normal. For some people, it does come on more quickly. For some folks, it is a little bit of a slower, I've actually seen sort of, I would say people get a little bit later into their 40s too, because of all the digital devices that we have. People can take pictures and blow it up. And, I'll joke with my patients and they'll be like, yeah, I see fine. And I say, well, show me your font size, right? Because we can blow up that font. And so we have a lot of tools that we can adapt, but it's a thing. It's not going anywhere.
It's a thing. I know. The moment I found where to increase the font size, I was like, this is brilliant.
Right?
Everyone can read my text now from, 30 feet away, but I can see it. Betsy, again, is there anything else you would like to add that we missed upon? It's been so interesting, and I just love what you're bringing to our community.
Thank you. No, I don't think so. I was just excited to, get a chance to talk about the office. We actually did just get voted for Low Country Parent magazine best optometrist for the second year in a row. So I'm super excited about that. And, I have to shout out to all of our parents that, are patients because, that's why we're here. And so it was a really cool, award to receive. So we're super pumped about that.
And we talked about all the medical, but you can get your frames there too, right?
Yeah, we have full service. We actually have a lab in-house, which means we can, make our own glasses here. So we're able to turn it around a lot more quickly for patients. So we're really kind of full service here. We like to do a little bit of everything. Really want to be that one-stop shop, have somebody come in, get a great pair of glasses, have a good experience, and then leave with an understanding, of why they have what they have, why it's important to come back, and hopefully, the desire to come back because of their good experience.
Right. Any tips on getting children to actually wear their glasses and not lose them all the time? Any magic in that?
I know that one's really hard. That one is really, really hard.
While I'm thinking of it too, for someone with perfect vision, the blue lights lenses, is that something that everyone should be doing as part of eye health?
Yeah, it's a great topic. My whole kind of take on it is that there's a lot about blue light we still don't know. But what we do know from our research is there's definitely a sleep correlation. So increased exposure to blue light does decrease melatonin. Melatonin naturally regulates our circadian rhythm. So if you're noticing there's an issue with your, kiddo having a hard time falling asleep, or even for yourself, you definitely want to limit that screen time. The recommendation is power down 2 hours prior to bedtime. But, we do have access to some good blue light filters, and that's still part of the goal is like really understanding what are you getting, so from some vendors, it's hard to know what type of blue light, technology they have. We actually have lenses here, that are blue light filters that we can make. You can pick out any pair of frames that you want, and we can just make them right here on site because we know it's a great quality blue light filter. But I think more than anything, I think we'll find out more. We don't have solid research that says, yes, blue light can cause macular degeneration or other retinal diseases. But the thing I tell my patients too is, well, think about the time we didn't know and understand a lot about UV light. Right. So now we know more. And really, what's the harm? If we can mitigate some of that blue light, I have a lot of patients that feel more comfortable after a long day wearing blue light glasses. I think it's worth it. We actually did have a contact lens company just launch a single use, so a daily contact lens that filters blue light too.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
The technology is amazing, right?
It is.
What they can do.
Awesome.
Betsy, remind the listeners again where they can find you, and then give me your website, social media, and you also said you have a YouTube channel that we can go watch.
Yes. So we are at 495 Wando Park Boulevard, Suite 101 in Mount Pleasant, right off of Long Point Road. Practice website is www.compassvisioncare.com. We are on Facebook and Instagram at Compass Vision Care, and we also have a YouTube channel that you can access from our website.
All right. And then this interview eventually will be up on the YouTube channel. Maybe you're watching it from the YouTube channel now, jumping in the future. Betsy, thank you for your time today. It has been such a pleasure. You have been listening to the Charleston Women Podcast with Betsy Fraser, the owner and optometrist of Compass Vision Care.
Thanks for spending time with Charleston Women Podcast. Please like us and follow us on whatever platform you're using to access Charleston Women Podcast.